Hello everybody, this is Robert Gordon and I'm from Selma, Alabama, famous Selma, Alabama. This is the story of a little girl and the whiskey bottles, which I'll never forget, never forget. I used to spend the summers at my grandfather's house, and wonderful, wonderful. It was in Tyler, Alabama. And one morning I woke up, and I could hear my grandfather and my uncle in there arguing with my mother. And they were telling her that I was old enough to go. And I had no idea what they were talking about. In fact, I didn't know for like 20-something years after that what happened. I was so young. I was 11. Probably 11 years old. I go in the kitchen, this big old farmhouse. Chickens, cows, horses, cotton, corn, the whole thing. My grandfather had gotten his rabbit-eared shotgun out, which always meant he was going hunting, but it wasn't hunting season. My uncle had strapped on a big pistol. I still don't know what it was. And I climbed into the back of the truck. My mother didn't want me to go at all. Not at all. I didn't know where I was going. And so we take off. And you have to understand, this is a long time ago. And there really wasn't any law out there. Not really. And we went down the old dirt road toward the creek, pulled up in this driveway. My uncle had a big ton truck with high cattle sides on it. I was riding way up high, which we always loved to do. We pulled up at this old tenement house. I really had no idea what we were doing there. And the old man was out in the yard, but he wasn't old. He was probably 30-something, but he was old to me. Had on his overalls, and I looked around the yard, and there's trash everywhere. And whiskey bottles laying everywhere, and I knew that was a bad thing, And I didn't know white people ever lived in these houses. It was always black people. I'd never seen a white person live in a house like that, but they did. And there was no law out there. You couldn't get the sheriff to come out there. You couldn't get the Lowndes County sheriff to come out there, and you couldn't get the Dallas County sheriff to come out there because it was right on the Dallas and Lowndes County, right on the line. And neither one of them wanted to fool with it because they were dealing with white trash and they just didn't want to fool with it. My uncle, my grandfather got out of the truck and they had their guns, and I was going, what is this? I didn't know. They talked to this guy, and all he would do was sit there and nod his head. And I saw my grandfather point the shotgun down the dirt road, and I didn't know what they were doing. Then I looked on the porch of this old tumble-down house. This little girl came out. She was like my age. And she didn't have any clothes on. I remember just waving at her and going, wonder why you don't have any clothes. And then I looked at her and she had scabs all over her body. Scabs, hundreds of scabs on her body. pretty soon after they talked to him, and the little girl went back in the house, and they got back in the truck, and we went back to my grandmama's house, and nobody said anything. And I waited 20 years. Yeah, 20 years to ask my uncle, why did my grandfather was already dead by this time. And I asked him, why did we go to that house? Guy there at the tenement shack had been raping that little girl. And they told him that if he didn't move, that they were going to kill him. And they would have killed him. And all those sores on her were syphilis sores. And then I knew. And I guess that's about it. But I always wondered, what happened to the little girl?
Satan, you brought me down. I don't know how to ask, I don't know how to say. My lovers are confused, and I can't make them stay, and I don't even want to. Satan, how did you know that when I turned to go, I'd do just like you said, and faith would follow? Satan, you brought me down. Who fashioned me from clay, who gave me life that day, who bit the evil fruit. What did she institute? Why did she make me? I know her secret past, but secrets cannot last. And when the truth is shown, they're gonna say you played me. Across the vast expanse of sky, I wanna fly, I wanna fly. But I am bound by heaven's law and sealed to the space of